I have plans to go out.
Thea, you ready?
What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Afternoons Delight. And y'all know, man, how excited I was last week about the whole thing with Thea Hail and Jacy Jayne. Y'all heard my enthusiasm in my voice. Y'all probably never heard me that happy before. Probably since, when's the last time I think I was this happy was when Zoe Stark joined Trish Stratus on at Night of Champions. Because when something happens when you talk about it for a while and then it actually happens, bro, it makes you feel so good that you talked about it, bro. I'm not saying they got the idea for me. It might be just an ironic occasion. But I talked about it for a while, putting Jacy Jayne, Thea Hail together, and obviously Cora Jade. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we've been talking about Jacy Jayne getting her own faction. Back to when I was brainstorming it for Damage Control like 2 months ago. Her being the leader to succeed Bayley in the future. Which they can still roll with that. But I would give her the experience of leading a faction right now. She wasn't never the leader of Toxic Attraction. So I would give her the experience of being a leader of a faction right now. You know what I mean? Before she hits the main roster. That way, once she joins Damage Control, she already had the experience of being a leader, and she just goes from there. But let's talk about this, y'all. So Jacy Jayne, last week, make sure y'all watch my video from last week. I was so enthused, bro. She told Thea Hail that people like us, and it hit everybody. Like Vic Joseph mentioned in the broadcast right after that, like, what does she mean by people like us? Because you don't identify Thea Hail to be the same as Jacy Jayne. But it makes you think, though, that Jacy Jayne sees something out of Thea that she saw in herself. Maybe, at one point, Jacy was a good girl, like Thea was, and then Jacy just went to the dark side and never came back. You know what I mean? And so maybe that's what she's saying when she was talking about Thea. She see the whole thing with her and Thea is that she sees something with Thea that she sees in herself. And it might not have seemed like it because up until this point, it never really felt like Thea Hail was that type of character, right? She was such a top of the class type student. She was very enthused, had a lot of respect for Mr. Chase and Mr. Hudson, Duke Hudson, man. Never really felt like, Thea Hail was a bad kid. But Thea Hail going to her dark side, we might see something out of Thea Hail that we never saw before. And I love it. I just love the intrigue of where they're going with this. Because this can have a lot of layers to it if they do it right. And so this week, they had a vignette, and I love the Chase U vignettes, by the way, going all the way back to I remember the first time they did one with Thea Hail was so hilarious, bro. And the one that they did like almost 2 years ago where he was cussing the shit, that was funny. That was funny. But so Duke Hudson was in the class with some other students in the background. And he noticed that Thea Hail wasn't in class. And so he wrapped class up. And Thea Hail was still not there until, a few moments later. She came in, and Andre Chase was very surprised and looked very disappointed that Thea came in late, did not show up at all. Like, it wasn't that she came in late. She didn't show up at all. Well, she missed class, cut class. And then it was something that he wanted to go over with Thea Hail, but she had some other plans, and she said she had some plans with Jacy Jayne. Oh, the concerned look that you saw on Hudson and Chase's face, bro. When she said that, and then Jacy appeared by the door, and they showed her looking like a badass, and then you just saw Thea leave with her, bro. I was like, oh my God, Thea's really about to do this, bro. She's really about to turn heel, bro. It's crazy. She's been influenced by one of the meanest, baddest girls in the back, in Jacy Jayne. And I've been like, I don't know whose idea this was, if it's HBK or somebody else in creative, or maybe you just heard it from me. But whoever idea it was, A+ work. Because this is going to be such a simple storyline to tell. And sometimes the best storylines are the simple ones. That's how Bloodline is so good. Because even though it's kind of complicated, it's a really simple story. about the family. You know what I mean? So it should be easy to make, because soap operas are based around families, most of them. And so anytime you could tell a story with the family, I mean, that should be pretty easy. But now you're telling the story of a good girl gone bad, being influenced by someone. It's just like, it's so relatable to like high school, man. So like my thinking right now is that, they're gonna play that influential character. Like some of us, maybe not all of us, have gone through this, like even in high school, middle school, maybe even college. Where you've been badly influenced by somebody, somebody better than you as a child or whatever, and basically you might go through somewhere you're cutting classes and stuff like that, and you get out of control. Maybe you start using drugs or drinking or whatever bad habits you start from somebody else, becoming a party addict and all that stuff. And so we've all been through this stuff. I know I went through it in high school. I was a high school dropout, and basically the way I started my journey becoming a high school dropout. Well, I was also in like 4 different high schools, so that played a major part in it, because my first school was like a private school, so it was like, I had no real problems at my private school. Then as soon as I went to like a public school, everything just started going off the rails for me. You know what I mean? Went to my neighborhood school, and boy, oh boy, I was never the same. I started cutting class every day. And the thing about the difference between, so I went to alternative school as well to finish up. And I didn't even get out of school till I was high school till I was like 20 years old, because I had dropped out. But I was also like, because the way my birthday was late, so I was always like a year ahead of everybody else in my class. So, because I was supposed to be in the previous grade, but I ended up having a repeat of grade. So that kind of stunted everything. And that's kind of the reason why I stopped being interested in school. I started working a regular job too around that time when I turned 17. And I just was like, bro, I was starting to get stressed out having to go to school and work at the same time. Even though I was in sports, like in my previous school, I was in sports. So I was used to a long day, but it was an even longer day when I started going to work. And I started favoring going to work because I like making money. So I started prioritizing that over school. And like when I started cutting before I started working though. It was like the year before I started cutting. And I just had a bad influence, And the thing was that the kids who cut, because I also used to go to this other school too, right, that I did not attend. It was a school, like a bus ride up from where we were. And I used to hang out with this dude named Kyle, man. He was so cool, bro. He used to smoke weed and stuff. I didn't smoke like that, though, but I used to hang out with him. But most of the kids that used to cut, though, they were really good. They were actually good kids, and, semi-stable households. Like, they wasn't really, like, on the streets, gang banging and all this other stuff, being in a troubled life. Most of the kids that cut and stuff, they were just normal kids, bro. They just got into a bad habit of cutting. So they just did not like school. I'm someone that does not like school. So I went to college for a couple of years with that. I didn't like it, man, because I just was never, I hated that part of academic learning, man. I just wasn't into my education like that. So and that's another reason why it was easy for me to, drop out of school or whatever too. And most of the kids, like, this is even more evident when I went to my alternative school, because I thought it was going to be like some really bad kids that I didn't want to be around, some ignorant kids. And actually the kids at the high school, they had the same problems I had. They was cutting class and they dropped out of their school. It was the same. It was, it wasn't even that bad of kids. You know what I mean? And usually, like I said, everyone thinks like the kids that typically drop out or cut class and ditch class and stuff like that, they think it's the bad kids. Oh, it's actually the good kids that just get caught up and they get used to doing it. So when you get used to doing it, because it's so easy to cut, because like it ain't like we had like strict security at our school. It was so easy to just go out a few different doors to get out of the school, man. You just had to make sure the security wasn't in the area when you went out the door. It was so easy to fucking cut at that school, man. It was so ridiculous, bro. But it just reminded me of, like, that's my little life story if I never told it before in here, but Thea Hail kind of reminds me of that because she's a good kid, outstanding kid, but losing 2 championship matches at her age is rough. Like, they're telling, like, a real-life story here with this character. That's what I'm loving about it. It's genius, bro. The best writing comes when it feels like it's real life. And, like, Thea, you can feel that Thea Hail's been struggling. For real, for real. And like I said, this is the second time against the same opponent. And I think for Thea, she got the confidence because she was able to put that Kimura lock on Tiffany Stratton a couple of times, but just hasn't been able to get it in a match, right? Successfully getting her to tap. Every time she did tap, the referee wasn't looking or something, or he was distracted. And then when Chase threw the towel in on her, it was like he didn't believe in her. You know what I mean? So you can understand why she's super upset now, like more than before. Because, like, now she's starting to feel like she's a failure. And she feels like Mr. Chase doesn't believe in her, man. And, like, now she sees someone who's bad and just doesn't care about life as Jacy Jayne. And you could just tell, like, she's just giving up. She's giving up on the whole thing. All the progress she's made at Chase U, she's giving up. And Jacy comes from a source of comfort for her because she's not able to fight through her reality of just trying to get back to the top. She doesn't want to go through the work of getting back to the top. You know what I mean? And she sees it as an easy route with Jacy. That's why the whole thing with Rey Mysterio giving her advice, it feels like that didn't work. But I do think it's bringing out a side of Thea where she's just ready to change. You know what I mean? Change something up. And Jacy is so easy to be influenced off of, man. Because she probably is making it seem so easy right now for Thea. Gotta love it. I'm just loving the fact that they figured out something to do with this. And, like, Thea is such a good babyface character, though. Like, when she comes back to Chase U, it's going to be so good, right? Because she's going to be back with Chase U. She's going to be back with Chase U. And before I wrap up the video, I'm going to say how they should do it. But I love it because, like, I think Thea Hail's going to be able to pull off this heel character. I think she's probably their best actress in the whole fucking NXT. She probably is their best actress, man. Cause she's only 19 and she's pulling out the park. I think she's about to turn 20 in like another week or two, right? I think her birthday, like, it's either on like the 9th or 10th or something like that. I know she's about to turn 20 though. But happy early birthday to Madison. That's her real name, is Madison. Well, happy birthday to her. But or Maddie, whatever you want to call her. But yeah, so Thea Hail, man, I think she's going to be able to pull this off so good, this heel character. I don't know what it's going to look like. You sort of got to, like, she's kind of been delving into it, but, you know, the last few weeks. But, I mean, when she goes all the way with it, it's going to be amazing to see. To see what she's going to be able to pull off as a heel. Because my thought of her was always like a Sami Zayn type character, where she's getting bullied by the bloodline, you know, like by the group. But since they didn't add Cora Jade to the group before Thea Hail, and I'm not saying they're going to add Cora, because they might add Cora Jade to Judgment Day or Damage Control, but I got that feeling that's where they're going, because I think they're repackaging her. And I think that the thing about it is with Thea is that now she's going to be probably be the main assistant to Jacy Jayne in the group. So she's going to be running shit, you know, helping run shit with Jacy Jayne. It's going to be Jacy's group, but she's going to be helping run stuff. And I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting. Because I think she's going to be able to pull it off. Now, how long should she be in the group? I'm thinking, okay, so I started looking at this. And I talked in my last video about Kalani Jordan and Danny Palmer maybe replacing her in Chase U until she comes back. Because when Dana Brooke turns heel, Kalani Jordan is going to need someone to save her and pick her up. So, you know, I would say you could just do it with Danny Palmer and put them in the tag team, but like also, but I know the ultimate end game is to have Danny Palmer with Sol Ruka, but you gotta wait all the way to probably like next summer. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the last couple of ACL injuries that we had before her, Nikita Lyons and Brooklyn Barlow got hurt last July 2022. Came back this year, August 2023. So her timeline is 13 months when she got back in the ring. Because she was on Level Up. And she had a match against, ironically, Danny Palmer. And what I'm seeing right now, and so then Nikita Lyons, we got to keep an eye on hers. But I'm still not exactly sure when she tore hers. Because I thought she tore it in November. But she got the surgery in January. So maybe she did tear it in January. She was probably already having some knee pain before that. But, or maybe she just had a delayed surgery, you know. But usually with torn ACLs, you usually had that surgery like right away though. But either way, let's just say if it was January, she's going to be coming back somewhere in the winter time, right? So if you look at Sol Ruka's timeline, and if you want to put Danny Palmer back with Sol Ruka, you could probably have Thea Hail in there until about next summertime, putting Thea Hail back in Chase U. Because I don't think she needs to be in there a long time. Like, when you start to fill out the group, Jacy will have enough in the group to keep it going. Like I said, I got to put Tatum Paxley in the group. Like, that's where I will start. Tatum Paxley. There's no reason why they don't have something planned out really well for Tatum Paxley. I just don't get it. I don't get it, guys. I don't get why it's taking so long to do something with Tatum Paxley. Because it definitely feels like they're not carrying on with what they were doing with Blair Davenport. And her. But I definitely think either you're going to put her with Rhea Ripley, Judgment Day, or you're going to put her in this group. I think you put her in this group, though. Because she should easily be able to shine in this group with Danny Palmer and Jacy Jayne. I just really believe that. But we're going to see. We're going to see. Give me all y'all thoughts about this, man. It's just going to get very, very interesting. It's going to get very, very interesting with this, man. I can't wait for next week. I'm still going to do like a detailed video sometime in September. And we're going to really do a deep dive into this. But give me y'all thoughts right now on it, man. I can't wait to hear from y'all. Y'all know who y'all are, man. I still can't believe it, Kawhi 2019, man. I still can't believe it. But go ahead and give this video a like, share, subscribe, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. After News to Light.